Good morning, everybody. It's Thursday morning, and we're talking about growth by subtraction this week. And, the reality is that as we grow in our faith, there's some things we sort of leave behind as really unnecessary attachments to life. It said that back in the 1800s, when people came across on the Oregon Trail, they got about halfway and they hit some mountainous terrain and they said, there's some stuff we need to leave behind. And so they found some odd things, chests and organs sitting alongside the path, but they were things that they needed to get rid of. Well, there are things in our own life that we need to get rid of as Christians that really aren't necessary, and in fact, they may even be harmful to us. So, we're going through the list in Galatians chapter 5, verses 19 through 21, where Paul refers to this list as the works of the flesh, and they're things that we want to get rid of. We want the Spirit of God to overcome those in our life. And we've talked about the first three yesterday. Today I want to talk about a couple more of them. And that's where Paul groups a couple of items here where he talks about idolatry and witchcraft. Now, those may seem kind of, sins that we're not really struggling with a great deal in our day. But I think the point Paul is making is he's dealing with the aspect of faithfulness in our lives. Now, that's also one of the fruits of the Spirit. So we might be looking at sort of the negative aspect of this faithfulness, or here the lack of faithfulness. Because when we talk about idolatry, that's really saying the whole area of worshiping the created rather than the creator. And it means that in that case, in the ancient world, they were worshiping idols of stone or metal or whatever. In our life, though, we can also be unfaithful to God. Our big temptation here in America is the temptation of materialism, that we tend to believe that the more we own, the more secure we are, the more wealth that we have, the more fun that life will be, and we begin to put our faith in our material possessions. So that's kind of like that threat of faithlessness towards God, that we begin to turn away from God, and there are things that just steal our hearts from Him. Now, that's one of those sins that we need to get out of our life. But there's a second one as well, and it mentions witchcraft. And I'm sure most of you are not dealing with witchcraft in your life. But the word that's used there in that list is actually the word that we use for a pharmacy. It has the idea of drug use. And it also was used in ancient times as a means to enhance worship. Now that sounds like the 1960s culture, okay? But it was meant to enhance worship or get in touch with the gods. But drug use then was served, or they intended for it to serve that purpose. Now that means that we can also be unfaithful to God as we involve ourselves in sort of a spirituality that turns away from God to other false religions or false doctrines or false gods, and things that take, again, our heart from God. Now that means in both of these works of the flesh, it means that our heart can be stolen by both material things in our life, but it can also be stolen by those spiritual things in our life. And so Satan's after you on both sides of the equation. So Christian, wake up, open your eyes, and get rid of these sins, and it will reduce the temptation, and go back to that idea of I belong to Jesus alone. I am faithful to Him alone, and be distinctive in your faith. Anyway, there's something to think about on a Thursday. You have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye for now. God bless.